Three, two, one. Hey guys, this is Robert Foley.
And Jackie Foley.
And what is this again?
This, I think, is the pink think.
Yeah, pretty sure. So we're going to be talking about, this is our Zoom call.
Our very first.
And we're going to be talking about some of the failures of Donald Trump. This is just three of them. Failures and lies. Do you remember one off the top of your head? Because I remember all three of them.
Oh, off the top of my head, let me see. Shall we talk about the war and his promises to pull out troops that was failed upon?
Yes. So this is what I think he did brilliantly in 2016. He went after Hillary Clinton for voting for the Iraq War and things of that nature. He promised to get out of those. Are we out of them, folks?
No, we aren't.
Nope, we're not. Unacceptable. Now, Jonathan Swan of Axios recently interviewed Donald Trump. You guys probably remember it. There's been plenty of memes made about it. And he asked him how many troops would be there on election day. And he said 4,000. Right now, there's about 8,000. What's your thoughts about that, Jackie?
I think that's unacceptable, honestly, because we all know that this president lies, but when he makes such a claim about the troops and saying that he's going to bring people home and end a war, and then he doesn't follow through on it, and he refuses to accept that he's failed the American people in that way, I just think it's reprehensible.
Yeah, and some people think we aren't looking at this objectively. I'd say we are. I give Obama the same criticism of he should have gotten out of the Afghanistan war.
Yeah.
I'd give any president the same criticism.
Yeah, it's not to do with the fact that he's Trump or that he's a Republican. It's that he promised something and he didn't follow through on it.
Yeah. And let's just talk a little bit more about that, because there are people who are going into Afghanistan today who were not even born on 9/11.
Yep.
Who at least people who are old enough to fight, and probably some people who are fighting in Afghanistan who are not even born on 9/11. I wasn't even born on 9/11. Or,
And so what would you say
9/11.
is your argument here, that like this isn't their fight? This is something that's been so far in the past.
Yeah, and it's just the war on terror. We just, they all said, Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. That was just, I think that's what people's like Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, all those warmongers argue for,
Yeah.
That's just an excuse that ended up being false.
And the war on terror has killed far more civilians over there in those countries than ever died on 9/11 or terrorist attacks.
I'm going to pull something up. My phone has only 9%. I'm going to pull something up on my phone really quick before my phone dies.
Yeah,
that was very interesting to me on the whoisidewith.com. So this is just about oh shoot. I didn't screenshot it, but it was, should we be able to use enhanced interrogation for terrorists?
Oh boy.
Do you know what that means?
It sounds like torture to me.
It is. It is waterboarding, things of that nature. And a majority of people said yes.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy, huh? Trump said, I'm going to bring back torture. I'm going to do all this stuff. He literally said that.
Wow.
So do you want to move on, or do you want to keep... I don't even know.
If you have anything more to say, I don't really have anything to add. But
okay, then I don't either. Huffington Post. A year after Trump's carrier deal, U.S. companies still offshoring plenty of jobs. He went after Clinton for NAFTA.
Tried to dissolve it.
Yeah, and he didn't. He renegotiated it and made it pretty much the same. But how many jobs do you think were outsourced? I've told you this. I don't know if you remember. How many jobs do you think were outsourced under Obama's year of 2016? Just in 2016.
30,000. I don't remember the number.
I wish. Actually, I don't wish. I wish it was zero. But,
Right.
87,000, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Guess how many in Trump's first year were outsourced?
90,000.
93,000.
Ugh, that was close.
He was worse, and he correctly pointed out that Obama and Clinton were outsourcing jobs, and he said like, "Oh, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to stop that." He didn't.
That was a big selling point for him, if I remember correctly. The whole like America first and let's support American businesses, American jobs, bring them back to America.
That sells. I mean,
It does.
I'm not like, I wouldn't call myself jingoistic, but I'm very proud of my country. I think we could be doing a hell of a lot better, but I'd like to support our country first. I'd like to put our country first, but he hasn't been doing that. If he was really putting our country first, would he have really done a $100 billion weapons deal with Saudi Arabia?
Absolutely not. Or been so chummy with every other dictator.
Yeah. And so what was I going to say? Oh, I'm trying to think. There was something I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, it was Joe Biden and his Made in America thing. He pledges to, now let's hope he follows through on it if he is elected, which I'm hoping he will be.
We all hope.
Made in America thing, where the federal government can only buy products made in the United States.
Wow.
Think of how much that would help our economy.
Yeah, that's quite an initiative.
Now, Trump had a Made in America like rally or something, but did he actually make a law?
Or implement any policies that would have helped American businesses?
Well, no, not at all. And think of how much that would help the economy. And people are always like, oh, I just vote for him because of the economy. Because, you know, there is a thing where I think some people did support him because of his, I think a good portion of people did support him because of some of his
economic
racist
policies.
Yeah, and some of his racist rhetoric. But I think more people, because I tend to think that most people aren't racist, but I think a lot of people somehow overlooked those and said, well, oh, there's a chance he'll break up the establishment. There's a chance that he'll actually be good for me. And he lied.
And it's not like somehow like it's a big mystery. It's that they're willing to put aside instances of racism or see them as not as important when it comes to getting the economy up. It's implicit racism in that way, that they aren't calling it out and that they're standing for it.
Yeah, and I mean, you want examples like, oh, how is he racist? First of all, and some people might not call this racist, they'll call it Islamophobic. But remember his Muslim ban?
Of course.
That's, if not racist, let's not even call it racist. That's bigoted.
Bigoted, absolutely.
Transgender ban. Transphobic is a word. Even if we're not saying that, it's bigoted.
He's still a bigot, obviously.
Yeah.
And he was sued for he and his father for discriminatory housing practices.
Yeah.
Against African Americans. So.
That's pretty serious. His father was in the KKK, and I'm not saying the sins of the fathers are on the sins of the son, but like that could tell.
That's still the person that shaped him, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, the last thing, I don't even remember.
We were talking about jobs.
Taxes.
In America. Oh, taxes.
Yeah. What does he always say? Oh, if the Democrats get elected, they're going to raise your taxes. They're going to. So first of all, let's talk about Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. And do you know off the top of your head, or can you make a guess, what bracket below what number of income a year does Joe Biden not want to increase taxes for?
100,000.
I wish 400,000.
Oh, dang!
Anyone under 400,000, is that good? Yeah, I think it could be better. I would say maybe not 100,000, but maybe 250,000. Under that, you shouldn't raise their taxes. Because people who make $400,000 a year, that's a really small portion of the country.
Yeah.
And but what do they always frame it as? They're going to raise whose taxes?
The everyday working Americans' taxes.
Yeah. And specifically, they say they're going to raise your taxes.
Your taxes, yeah.
And they're not, unless you're
Rich.
one of these millionaires or people who make over $400,000 a year. Let's say, even if I'm not a millionaire, I'd really like to be making $400,000.
Yeah, you'd be comfortably off. It wouldn't be taking the money that you so desperately need to feed your children away from you.
Yeah, those people I would guess are not the 400 or not 400, not the 76% of Americans who are working paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
So let's talk about taxes. So people are like, and Rand Paul was praising him at the RNC for his tax cuts.
Tax cuts to whom?
83% of the benefits went to the top 1%.
Yep.
It raises taxes on people making $75,000 a year or less over a 10-year period.
Wow.
Now, when you believe in a progressive tax system, you want people who have less money to be paying as little as possible, because people always talk about, oh, we're going to climb the ladder. They should climb the ladder. If you really want them to climb the ladder, lower the poorer people's taxes, and then make sure that they're better off. So that's why I think a progressive tax system is best.
Absolutely.
And why? You know what is the failure? Of a flat tax?
What?
So first of all, it doesn't have. Let's say, oh, we're just going to make it 15% across the board. That would actually, in most cases, raise taxes on poor people and lower taxes on rich people. So,
yeah.
And then let's not even get into a regressive tax system, which is
that's completely backwards.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, he raised taxes on people making $75,000 a year or less over a 10-year period. Let's hope that Joe Biden will repeal that. Do I like his tax plan a lot? No. If you look at where I am, I'm significantly to the left of Joe Biden. And I think a lot of people who are voting for him are.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
I'm significantly to the left of Bernie Sanders even. But
and that's saying something.
Yeah. And so I would like, because people talk about a marginal rate. Do you know what a marginal tax rate is?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay. So AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, proposed a 70% top marginal tax rate. Doesn't that sound extreme?
It does, if you don't know what that means. Am I correct in saying that means that you only are taxing 70% of your income above a certain line, not 70% of your entire income?
Bingo. So I think it was $10 million. And that's not even, during the golden age of economics, it was actually higher than that. But 70% above $10 million. Let's say hypothetically, I have $11 million. So maybe 45% up to 10 million, my 11th million taxed at 70%.
Yep.
I mean, do you even think that's high enough? Or, I mean,
if you're the kind of person who's having $10 million, you can afford to give 70% of your earnings after that. Like, in the past, there's been marginal tax rates of even higher than that. I don't remember the exact statistics right now, but I know that in the past, like even during times when America was thriving and such, like these things aren't off the wall ideas. They've happened before in the past. They've been implemented by the American government when we've been in times of economic prosperity.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just to wrap it up, we're going to ask maybe a question. Okay, so I'm trying to think of an interesting question to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you want to see Joe Biden follow through on? Do you know any of his plans, and what do you think he should follow through on, really? Like, what do you think is the main thing he should push for and follow through on and actually follow through on,
And actually follow through on, yeah. I'll need to do a little bit more reading up on his policies just to be sure I know exactly what he's proposing. But I definitely think that the taxes is something that he needs to follow through on. Like, I know you said that it isn't the most that you'd like you're a bit to the left on his tax policies, but we need to get rid of what Donald Trump has done for taxes and
absolutely
to get that back to the average American.
And I don't like the idea of let's go back to normal, because I think normal was not working for millions of Americans before.
Normal was better than where we are now, but we need to go further. It wasn't working for millions of Americans, like you said. So people are still homeless. People are still getting deported. People are still fighting in wars under Obama, under administrations before that. Normal wasn't ideal. It was just better than we are now.
Yeah, I think, what is it, 40,000 people dying of healthcare related issues?
Yeah, the healthcare, absolutely.
So I'd like to see him follow through on healthcare. Now, first of all, I don't think his plan goes far enough. I would support a single-payer universal system, Medicare for all.
Yeah.
A public option would help many Americans. But what I really want him to follow through on is actually college, because he said he would make public universities tuition-free for everyone under $125,000 a year of income. Now, that would be a huge step. That would reduce the number of 76% of Americans working paycheck to paycheck. That might reduce that down to almost 60 or 50.
If people don't have to pay for their own college or for their kids' college, yeah.
Yeah, and because most of those people, let's be honest, are making less than $125,000
Oh, yeah. If you're working paycheck to paycheck, you're not making that much a year.
Again, that's significantly to the right of me, though, because I would make it free for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, there are talks, and I'm kind of working this out in my brain of should public or should private school even be a thing?
Right. Like, should education be privatized in any way?
Yeah. So I think that's an interesting debate. So that's what I think we should follow through on. Because I think that would help a lot of Americans, and that'd be a huge step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Anyways, this has been Robert Christopher Foley.
Jacqueline Elizabeth Foley.
And we are with the
Pink Think.
It's hard to time it.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time. Bye.